When I look at it, it does look like you have a weird shadow right here. Is that coming up a lot?
We're already live, but yeah.
It's like too late.
I just wanted to hop in. That was my lighting consultant. What up, everybody? How are we? I know this is a random time for Get Your News On with Ron, but I wanted to talk about the results of the meeting tonight. What's up, JK? How are you? We only got 5 so far. We can watch the election results as they pull in. What's up, Colin? Yeah, the results are not good today. That is very true. That's very, very true. But let's talk about, I'm going to talk about the meeting first, and then we'll talk about the rest. We're just going to jump right in here. Get your news on with Ron if you want to know what's going on. We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron if you want to know what's going on. We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Flacone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron if you want to know what's going on. Getting our news on today. Welcome to a special edition of Get Your News On with Ron. Guys, we're going to talk about the election, and unfortunately we probably don't have the world's greatest news there. But let's start with some good news, if that's okay. I want to talk about the good news a little bit, if that's okay. I had my meeting, the meeting happened, rather, the municipal internet meeting here in Pasadena. For those that have been paying attention to this fight, and the fight that we're having here in Pasadena, and there's other neighborhoods throughout the country having similar fights. And it went a lot better than I expected it to. I had pretty low expectations, I'll be honest, and it surpassed those expectations. So I'll give you a play-by-play of what happened. And what we're going to do, Joe was there, my tech guy Joe was there, Pasta was there as well, and it was good. Joe actually filmed me when I spoke, and Joe was sitting behind me, so in a future clip you will see that footage and you have a great view of my ass. That's what you will have to be staring at the entire time. But, you know, it works. That's what we got. Thanks for the update this time of day. Yeah, I know. It's a random time for me. And this is going to be brief. This is going to be a very quick stream. But I wanted to talk to you guys. Because, first of all, we have a weird schedule the rest of this week because I leave for tour tomorrow morning. Me and Graham Elwood are going on the road. Where are we going, should you ask? Well, tomorrow we're at the Tempe Improv in Tempe, Arizona. Tempe folks, come on out. Thursday, excuse me, we're in Lake Havasu, Arizona at Pennington's Pub. Friday, May 11th, we're at the Center for Science and Wonder in Las Vegas, Nevada, baby. Vegas, baby. And Saturday, we're at the Comedy Palace in San Diego, California. You can go to romplacone.com or grahamelwood.com for more information and for tickets. Do it! That's our first leg. We leave for tour tomorrow. So what that means is that the rest of the week is going to be a bit scattered here for Get Your News On with Ron. I'm going to be streaming when I can, but it's going to be via my phone, you guys. I'm going to be streaming on my phone. So that's going to be a little different. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So the meeting went better than I thought it would. And let's talk about that first. So I showed up at the meeting, and I'm checking Twitter here, seeing what we got. Was funny seeing your aggressive progressive hair. Thank you. That was oh, CG, cool. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Vegas. Can't wait to see you. And for anyone that tuned into Aggressive Progressive today, I hope you enjoyed it. We had a really good time. It was kind of intimidating doing the show without Jimmy Dore. It was very intimidating, and we kind of felt like it felt like how I would imagine it felt like like doing Aggressive Progressives without Jimmy. It's sort of like the Chicago Bulls have to play and they don't have Jordan. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like that's the dude. Like that's the main. Like it's his thing, and you're doing it without him. But we had a really fun time today. Me, Mark Thompson, and Steve-O. For anybody that got to check it out, thank you very much for checking it out. And a lot of people were very encouraging and supportive, and that was really cool. Because we were all nervous doing it without Jimmy. We really were. We were all pretty nervous. So your support was very much appreciated, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show. So, onward to the meeting. Myra, first of all, to answer your question, please email that to me, romplacone.com. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. Go to my website, email me there, send me what you said at your city hall from Municipal Broadband. And I'm going to tell you guys the story about my experience with Municipal Broadband. So, the meeting happened today. And Joe, you can start the clip here, by the way. The Municipal Broadband meeting happened today, and I was in attendance, Joe was in attendance, and Pasta was in attendance. So the entire Get Your News On with Ron crew was there. Fiorella was there as well. So the Convo Couch was represented too. And there were some other people scattered throughout that attended the meeting, public folks, by the way. And then there was City Council, the mayor was there, and so forth. And they gave the presentation that we talked about in a prior clip. The presentation that was pretty pro-industry, saying essentially, hey, things are fine the way they are. AT&T's got our back, and they're going to expand and invest in more infrastructure and blah, blah, blah. So they gave that presentation, and, you know, I got up there and I mentioned that, hey, we didn't talk about net neutrality at all. Net neutrality was not mentioned in this presentation, and that's a very pressing issue, one we need to be active about. And to my very pleasant surprise, yeah, I gotta do something about this. Yeah, I gotta try to switch it up, see if that does anything. The eyebrow thing's annoying me too. Let's see if that fixed it. That didn't make it any better. Yeah, that didn't make it any better. That's frustrating. Thank you, Jason. I'm glad you're enjoying the sound. I wish I could do something. I'm trying to like get less lighting in my glasses, but now I have this shadow of it looks like I have these ridiculous eyebrows because of the shadow of my glasses. I wonder if I mess with the camera a little bit, if that helps. Let's see if that helps. And then I gotta wait and see because it looks different. Yeah, it's not really helping either, huh? Is it? That made it worse. I could just take them off. What if I just did it like this? I could just take them off. Now I can't see anything. Now everything's... I wouldn't be able to read the comments. Every comment would just be like, did you curse me out? I don't know. I can't read anything, so I'm just assuming the worst from the world. Yeah, we'll just leave it as is. We'll mess with it later. Yeah, that's me. I just took my glasses off. It's kind of weird. I don't do that often anymore. All right. So the meeting happened today, and after they were done, I made my case. And I'll tell you guys, we'll show you the footage later in a later clip. I wanted to draw the line of being diplomatic while still expressing my my frustration and disappointment. So I said, look, I appreciate the fact that you guys put this on an agenda, because I did. I appreciate the fact that you guys have been responsive to my emails, because I was appreciative of that. I even appreciated the fact that my mayor got back to me, you know, and didn't send me a form letter, actually gave me a personalized response. I didn't like the response, but I appreciated that he at least did it. All right, he didn't have to do that, but he did. So I appreciate that. So I said all that. I was like, look, I thank you guys for hearing this issue out, for addressing it, for putting together this presentation, for having some data. However, you fall short on a couple things here. One of the things being net neutrality. You didn't even mention net neutrality. Nowhere in that presentation did they mention net neutrality. One of the council members at the end of the presentation said, you know, some people are concerned about net neutrality. Like, then that was it. So at least one of the council members, who, by the way, wasn't involved in the presentation, was like, hey, net neutrality, what about that? That's the reason why this really started being a big issue in the first place. And you're saying, hey, AT&T, they're going to invest in stuff. It's going to be great. But we're concerned about stuff like AT&T because they got a net neutrality. That's, you know, that's the problem. That's why we're here. So then I got up there and I said, you did not address net neutrality. The reason we're here is because we want to take the internet out of the hands of corporate interest and put it in the hands of the public. Your response to that concern is, hey, corporate interests, they're going to work harder for us. You see how that's backwards, and you see how that's kind of incomplete. Now, they did bring up that a venture like this could be costly, which it could be. And in fairness to their side, if something like municipal internet is not rolled out the right way, it could be a very costly mistake. That's true. Okay. And they brought that up. And, you know, that's a fair point. However, they basically said, they claimed, and for those of you that saw the prior clip, you know that I already talked about this, but they claimed that municipal internet here in Pasadena would cost $130 million. What they based that number off of was the cost that Beverly Hills would be facing. Because Beverly Hills is doing a municipal internet project, by the way, and what they're doing is fiber to the home. So they're saying that this is how much it would cost based on what it is potentially going to cost Beverly Hills. Now, Beverly Hills saved up for this. They have the resources set aside for it. What they didn't bother bringing up was that the revenue would be shared, or that the cost would be shared by citizens because they would then pay their internet bill to the city. They didn't even mention that. Now, we all know that's true, but they didn't even bring that part up, which I thought was a bit incomplete. Nor did they explore any other way to get this job done. The only case study they did was comparing us to Beverly Hills, Pasadena to Beverly Hills, which is a fair comparison. In many ways, both are Southern California neighborhoods. However, there are so many other success stories. Why didn't they look at Longmont, Colorado? Why didn't they look at the idea of mesh networks like what's going on in New York City? Why didn't they look at Fort Collins? Why didn't they look at Chattanooga, Tennessee? Why didn't you want to tell me all these places have some kind of gold ticket that Pasadena can't pull off? I brought that up. And I got some positive affirmation from it. Some people were nodding. They were like, yeah, okay. I asked my mayor to please reconsider signing the net neutrality petition. And he put his head down and didn't acknowledge me. You guys will see the footage. You'll have to look at my ass. Joe was behind me, so it's just, you're going to have to, there's just, Joe was filming my statements, right? Like I spoke and Joe was filming me. And at one point I say, Mayor Tornick, that's the mayor's name. I mean, I might as well say his name. I was like, Mayor Tornick, and he kind of looked up when I said his name, and I said, I hope you'll reconsider signing the net neutrality petition, and he just put his head down. He was just like, you made eye contact. That's not in the written rules, peasant. That was the moment it felt like, anyway. But we're going to upload that footage. That footage is going to be in a later clip. You'll see my ass and my mayor not acknowledging me as a human. Maybe he's going to sign the petition. I don't know. Maybe he was just thinking hard about it. It was weird. When I asked him about it, he had no, like, he was totally stoic. Like, there wasn't, like, a yes or a no or anything in between. He just, like, put his head down, and that was it. It's like who does that? Like, hey, Ron! And I'm like, hey, Ron, what are your thoughts? What's your favorite band? If I ever do that to you guys, call me out on it. If you ever ask me something, I'm just like, that's like, who does that when someone, like, acknowledges them? Hey, I gotta, hey, you know, English, we both speak it, and I'm saying words to you. Hey, do you want to stand for something? No, it's a Tuesday. So anyway, after I made that point that, hey, there's other ways we can look into it. It doesn't have to be, oh, here's what Beverly Hills did, so that must be the only way to possibly do it, and the only cost that we can possibly look at for a case study. And so I guess we can't afford it. And you know what I thought? You know, at first I thought, like, maybe they're just very industry friendly. This team that put together the presentation, our telecommunications directors. But then I also thought maybe they just don't want to do the work. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they're like, if we did do this, it'd be a lot of work on our part. We'd have to do work to make this a reality. So we'd rather just make the case for letting AT&T deal with this. Like, it could have been as simple as they don't want to do the work. Because what they didn't bring up was, they didn't bring up any red tape that we had with industry. Any lawsuits we could potentially be facing. They didn't bring that up. So hopefully that means there is none. Or if there is, it's something we can kind of overcome pretty easily. So that's pretty much the update there. And there was a city council member, I'm not going to name names, but there was a member of city council that seemed more receptive and asked some of the questions I did. The city council member was like, look, isn't there a more efficient way we can do this? Isn't there a cheaper way we can do this? There's got to be a better way. And they kind of were pittering around his question. And he said, look, if I could leave AT&T tomorrow, I would. Why? I bet a lot of citizens would love to have efficient internet provided by the city that's fast and good in quality. Why shouldn't we do this? This would be great if we could offer this. I bet we can do this. I bet there's easier ways we can do this. That's what that city council member was saying. I already have emailed that city council member, and I said, look, it seems like you're on our team on this one, and I'd love to work together. I'm going to do some more legwork on my end. I'm going to find out what Longmont did. I'm going to find out what Fort Collins did specifically, and how we might be able to duplicate that here in Pasadena. And I do think it's an attainable feat. And it would be great to have the ear of someone in city council that also wants to make this a reality. So, and yeah, that's a great idea, Roy. I will try to get that council member on the show as well. First, we'll see if he responds to my email. I guess it's a male. I guess I gave that much away about their identity. It is a male member, but we'll see. So that's pretty much the update there, and that was my main agenda for wanting to come on here. And I know we're buffering a little bit right now. I hope we're back. Alright, looks like we're back. Alright, so let's do some election results, shall we? It looks like Paula Jean Swearingen lost. Which sucks. What else can you say about that? And as of the recording of this, Rich Cordray is predicted to win in Ohio. Which means he'll beat Dennis Kucinich. So, as of right now, it looks like we got two pretty big losses. Paula Jean was trying to pick off Joe Manchin. And, of course, Dennis Kucinich was trying to get the nod for governor of Ohio. Now, any Democrat, whether it's the corporate Democrat, Cordray, or Dennis Kucinich, would have a long uphill climb against the Republican. That is true. But now that we don't have Dennis Kucinich, Ohio is essentially choosing between two Republicans. And Paula Jean lost to Joe Manchin. And it's... And this is why I'm kind of sour to the whole process. I mean, these establishment candidates, they really offer nothing. Yet because of just placement and money and power and smears and resources, they're still winning. Paula Jean offered so much to West Virginia. She understood their needs. She understood what was at stake. Joe Manchin never saw a Republican policy he didn't like. Is a disaster for environmental issues. Has done nothing for West Virginia. And yet he still won. Cordray is an absolute disaster at everything he's ever touched. I mean, the guy with the finance board, he screwed that up. Yet somehow it looks like he's on par to beat Dennis Kucinich. One of the greatest progressives we have, Dennis Kucinich. And I don't... How do you not come to the conclusion that the first goal of the DCCC and the DNC is to make sure the corporate-friendly incumbent stays in power? That's what they do. I mean, that's why they're there. And this is why I'm so tired towards the idea of them entering. And even though there's some people doing it that I support as individuals, that I'd be happy to vote for as individuals, and I understand the rationale behind it, but I feel like there's got to be a better way. And I feel like this is another example of that. If we had a viable third party, whether it's a completely new party or whether it's green entering, I'm at the point where whatever's going to work, I'm for. But situations like this, I mean, I think the big lesson here is how broken the Democratic establishment really is and how they really are fighting actively against progressive candidates. Cordray smeared the hell out of Dennis Kucinich, and I guess it worked a little bit. And the establishment put all of their money behind Joe Manchin, and it worked. They bought their way in. Because that progressive movement can only take you so far if you don't just have a viable candidate whose messaging can get to the general populace. And the Democratic establishment has it set up to kind of fight that. You have to spend all your resources beating them, instead of going straight to people, many of whom are sick of the status quo and sick of business as usual and are thirsty for an option that doesn't have an R or a D next to it. So, the way I see it is that the biggest lesson to take away from tonight's results is it's time to ditch the Democrats and take our chances as independents, take our chances with a new viable party, take our chances on Green entering. I don't exactly know what the clearest glass is. I do know we need to kind of stick to one thing and really make it work. Because we can't just spread all of our eggs all around. Our movement's only so big. That's the reality. Our movement is only so big. This is coming from the guy who's streaming to 61 people at the moment. Believe me, I know. Our movement is only so big. This is coming from the guy who has goofy eyebrows because he's still figuring out the best way to set up his lighting. We're only so big. And that's why we have discussions on this show. And I know some of you, your minds are made up. Some of you are like, Green entering's the way to go. We know it's the way to go. Some of you are like, no, third party, a new party's the way to go. Movement for a People's Party's the way to go. I like a lot of people involved with both those movements. And how we all come together, I'm not sure what form it's going to take. I don't know yet. I don't think any of us know yet. But something's got to give, and I don't think staying the course in the Democratic Party is the way to go, because it's you know, and I had this conversation after the meeting today with both Joe and Pasta. What's worse, starting a new infrastructure or trying to enter an infrastructure that's set up against you? It's like, hey, do you want to walk into this burning house, or do you want to just build a new house? Let's walk into the burning one. At least it's a house. Yeah, but it's freaking burning, and it's supposed to burn you. That's what it's going to do. Well, what if we compromise with it? What if we... Or we can, like, we can have less superdelegates. What if we only have a couple flames instead of, like, the whole house on fire? What if only 3 rooms on the house are on fire instead of the whole house? What if we do that? We can do that. And you know what? I think we really got to start at the bottom too. You know, I want to build a new house. I want to start a new movement. I want to abandon the Democratic Party because I think it's beyond repair. And I don't think it's interested in being repaired. They like the way it's set up. And we really got to start as small as it gets. I'm trying to get people to run. I'm trying to get somebody in Pasadena to run for city council, because I really feel like it seems like we got someone on city council that's behind us. There was another city council member that wasn't at the meeting today, but was also was at the first meeting that pushed for it to be on a municipal agenda in the first place. So I think that's 2 members we got right there. So if we get another one in, that's 3 members. That's 3 members we got. So why aren't more progressives running for city council? That's who I want to have. I want to talk to people that are running for city council in their community, that are running for school board, that are running. And I know that those are small pickets, but that's how you build it from the ground up. And I know that's the case some people make for Dem entering. They're like, well, you got to start at the very... Yeah, but the system's set up to squash you. The system's set up to give you a little bit of crumbs here and there, but then squash you. So no, that's apples and oranges. So that's the lesson I'm taking away from today in general. And, you know, again, I come at you with some good news and some bad news. The bad news, of course, the election results. The good news, our meeting today went better than I expected. And, even at the city level, Dems cater to the rich? Absolutely. Absolutely. I have a Democratic mayor that, you know, doesn't want to sign the petition for net neutrality, that doesn't support rent control. And I just sat through a presentation that was supposed to be about municipal internet and talked about how, you know, just sort of letting the ISPs do their thing. They got our interests in mind. But I said my piece. And some people in that room were listening. Some people in that room want a free and open internet. And even the committee that gave that presentation said, you know, we should keep our eye on this because the community does want this. There's community interest. So this should be something we revisit. And I did appreciate it. And I said, look, I appreciate that and I agree with that part of what you guys said. I agree with that part of what you guys said. So I wanted to update you guys on all that because I know some of you, and even in other parts of the country, are really paying attention to this fight and are trying to do similar things in your communities, which is awesome. And hopefully one of you has a big success story really soon. One of you might get municipal internet right away. It's possible. And I hope that happens. So yeah, that's kind of all I got to say about that. I just wanted to do a quick one. So to summarize here, do a little bit of housekeeping before I sign off. I wanted to do a stream tonight because, as you know, the rest of our schedule is going to be weird because I leave for tour tomorrow, guys. I leave for tour, and I'll be gone through Saturday night. So I'm going to try to stream, but I'm going to be doing it on my phone. So it's going to be way different. But I'll be doing it on my phone, and I'll be doing it when I can. But Chris in why did I say Chris? Oh, it's because Chris Swan just commented. Sorry about that. But Graham Elwood and I are going on tour, and yeah, we're coming at you. I'll give those dates again. Tomorrow, May 9th, we're at the Tempe Improv in Tempe, Arizona. May 10th, we're at Pennington's Pub in Lake Havasu, Arizona. May 11th, we're at the Center for Science and Wonder in Las Vegas, Nevada. And May 12th, we are at the Comedy Palace in San Diego, California. So guys, thank you very much for being part of this. Thank you very much for hearing my update. I hope you got something out of it. Joe will be making the clips later. And in that clip, he'll include footage of my ass. No, he'll include my statements. We might get some other footage. I know DC Tour 420 is trying to find the stream that the city streamed. So we'll see if he's able to rip that for us. He ripped it for us the last time. And we'll have a clip about the update itself, too. So, thank you guys very much for being part of this. And this has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Oh, and by the way, I'll say this too. Me and Graham announced our second string of tour dates. June 20th, we're at Zany's Comedy Club in Nashville, Tennessee. Coming to my old home spot, baby. June 21st, we're at Stand Up Live in Huntsville, Alabama. June 22nd, we're at the Built Off Biltmore. Or Block Off Biltmore, excuse me. I always say that wrong. Block Off Biltmore in Asheville, North Carolina. June 23rd, we're at Four Kegs in Louisville, Kentucky. And June 24th, we are at the Punchline in Atlanta, Georgia. But of course, we got our first leg coming up first. Lake Havasu, Tempe, Vegas, San Diego. All right. Oh, I love Olympia. I'd love to come to Olympia. We'll work on that. Doing the same thing, expecting differences is what it means to be insane. Having to choose between more and more is not what it means to play the game. Why does it put your mind at ease to ignore this big disease? Why do you like to sit and pretend when you always know the end? Go tell the BBC, go tell the CIA, it's time for revolution. Go tell the DSA, GP and SA, it's time for revolution. you're telling lies. When you reach a point of crisis, status quo, it needs to change. And if you can't understand that truth, well, it's time to get out of the way. Go tell the BBC, go tell the CIA. It's time for revolution. Go tell the NSA, stop listening to what we say. It's time for revolution. Wise man said that love's the answer. This fool knows that to be true. 'Cause I'm not ready to give up yet. Long as it's still me and you. So I'll tell the BBC, I'll tell the CIA. It's time for revolution. I'll tell the DSA, GP and SA. It's time for revolution. So get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? Let's hope they don't start World War III. You can tweet me an article at Rumplicone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? Getting our news on today. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining me for a last minute stream. I know the election results were pretty bummer, but I hope that I had a little bit of positivity for you. It is time for revolution. I love you all very much. Our schedule's going to be weird this week, but keep in mind, Get Your News On with Ron happens live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, unless I'm on tour. Then it just starts and ends at random time. So we're going to be random this week because Graham and I leave for tour tomorrow. Go to ronflagone.com for all the tour dates. I'm not going to repeat them again. But, yeah. I'll be coming back at you, hopefully tomorrow at some point. If not then, definitely at some point this week on my phone. I love you all very much. I think I got to go get something out of the oven. Peace.